Canadians or new immigrants, and or sometimes substituting
Yes.
clerks in. It's got to be more than that. It's got to be a genuine effort by on the part of Mr. Kennedy to make sure that his department has the leadership that it requires. I mean, going to Turkey and taking a couple of pictures with the refugees and not making any concrete announcements is worthless. I mean, he went to Turkey to see the folks, the Syrian refugees. He could have said that, look, you know, we'll expedite the cases of people that need to be sponsored from Canada, parental or spousal applications. We requested this. We've been yelling and screaming about it, and he's been ignoring us. So there's got to be more than a photo op. He's got to look at, he's got to make the commitment to make sure that he addresses where the resources need to be put, and if additional resources are required, that he asks for them. This is a cost recovery department. You pay for what you get, and you paid for the applications that you make. So if I'm going to pay to get my citizenship, then why should I have to wait 5 years in line in order to get it? So if I'm paying my $220, $230, then I should get the service that I paid for. Unfortunately, that is not the case.
Michelle Zillow, iPolitics.
So it sounds like you're asking for a cap to be put on the proof of residency waiting period. What about in cities like Vancouver and Toronto, where there's larger amounts of refugees flowing into the city compared to, maybe smaller ports or border crossings? What's your suggestion for those cities?
In order for somebody to get a citizenship, that must mean that they're landed. And in order for them to after they're landed, when they apply for citizenship after the 3-year period, they shouldn't have to wait 5 years in order to get their citizenship if they need to prove that they've never left Canada. So your question regarding the flow of refugees, but that's the front end, but the tail end is when people are applying for their citizenship after they qualified 3 years as a landed immigrant. They shouldn't have to be penalized and have to wait for 5 years.
See, a part of it, I just want to emphasize that the minister needs to give more profile or attention to the citizenship branch of immigration and citizenship. We often talk to the Lost Canadians, as an example, as a group that are trying to get individuals recognized as citizens. We talk to many Canadians from coast to coast to coast that are getting frustrated because they're not able to get their citizenship in a timely fashion. The minister has been negligent on that file, and he really needs to give it more attention. And we need to establish something that we can hold them accountable for. It needs to get below that 12-month mark.
I mean, you had Lost Canadians whose parents and grandparents were vets of World War I and World War II, and children of those vets to this day, and the children will be getting into their 70s and 80s, don't have Canadian citizenship, because although we on C-37 we had agreed that we're going to give the opportunity to these people to get their citizenship, the minister has not exercised the right decisions in order for them to get citizenship. If you looked at the previous ministers, Finley, as well as her predecessor before that, they were saying, we're going to allocate more money and we're going to allocate more resources to the department. We're not going to get rid of the backlog. And then what happens? They kill 300,000 cases, and Minister Kennedy goes to Amritsar in India, and there's a protest on a Canadian minister in a foreign country because of the way that these people have been treated.
Brendan?
Just to follow up, you mentioned in some cases it can take up to 10 years to get your citizenship. How many cases are you aware of where it's taken 10 years from start to finish?
3 years to qualify, and after you qualify, it's a year and a half to 21 months, as the department says right now, before you can get your citizenship. But if you need proof of residency, if you need to prove that you're in Canada, that's where you have the extra 4 to 5 years added. That's where.
So where's that doesn't add up to 10, so where's the 10 coming from, and how many cases do you know?
3 to qualify.
Yeah, but 3 plus 5 is 8.
3 plus 2 plus 4 plus 1. So 3 years to qualify, a year and a half that you're in the process, and if at that point in time they need to have proof of residency, that takes 48 months, and if you need to go in front of a judge, that's another year.
So how many cases are we talking about?
I would, from my experience of my caseload in my office, I would say I'm looking at about 25% of the caseloads that I have, but as Mr. Lamoreaux says, we could be looking at 10% right across the board altogether.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The judgment?
Yes,
Like
by all means.
Yeah.
Okay.
chance. Can I ask you about the leadership race now that we have a finalist?
Sure.